Okay, so you're having trouble importing the still file or the moon file. So let's go over this. So pretend your project doesn't have it in here. Pretend all this is gone, I guess, because I imagine you don't have any of this stuff in here. So you got to go up to Model, Import Component 3D Model. You said you grabbed the still. Either one of these will work. Let's try the still. Okay, importing. Actually, the still file is oriented the wrong way. Let's see if I can correct that. Rotational axis. Nope, that's not it. Oh. I guess I've never run into this before. Let's see. It's one of these guys. Maybe. Perhaps. Holy shit. Okay, let's do this one. There you go. There you go. Now it's oriented right. So it should be flat to this square form. As far as these guys, that's the size of your project area, and that's the height of your wood, I guess. You can set this now if you want, or you can wait until you bring everything in to then mess with it later. So I'm just going to leave it as is. And now as far as the positioning goes, like this darker plane right here is considered, I guess, the spoil board surface. So right now, part of the model is below the surface. So you got to bring that up. So you don't want to, you want to make sure, oh, wrong way. So you got to make sure it's sitting above that. And so now everything is sitting on top of the spoil board surface or the cutting area. And now you say import. And I don't think you need to touch anything else. And then also this number is telling you how thick the model is. So it's 34.9 millimeters thick. So you import. And then there's your 3D model. Now, as far as setting up the passes, you'd want to go to, you want to set up a 3D roughing pass first. So you click on this. I have one set up right here already. And then you'd want to select your tool bit. I'd use a 1/4 down cut bit. So you have your tools over here. You select your down cut bit. Make sure all your parameters are right. These are the parameters I'm using. Click select. And actually, while I'm at it, if you want the same, I guess, settings or feeder speeds, a good app to download would be the, what's it called? The IDC Woodcraft app from idcwoodcraft.com, and that will You can download the app, and then it has a bunch of tool bits in there, and it shows all the feeds and speeds that you would ever need to know for doing CNC. So you calculate that out. You can do between a 3D raster or a Z level. I do the 3D raster because it gets closer to the final result. It takes a little bit longer though, but I feel like it's less likely to cause, I guess, chipping in the wood. So I usually pick a 3D raster, and when you're doing the cutting, it's by default it will go like up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Go, or it might go this way actually by default. So you want to maybe go with the grain, so your tool lines are less obvious. Because another way, no, actually, I don't think the roughing pass does it, but the final pass will do it, where it will go in a circle, and you don't really want to go in a circle because you'll see your machine lines that much easier. Okay, so once your roughing pass is set up, then you want to do a 3D finishing toolpath. So you click on that guy, and that's what I have right here. Ball nose finishing toolpath. Click on that. Select your tool bit. I'll just show you real quick on the settings I am using for the ball nose tool bit. Oops, I added a second one here. I gotta get rid of that one. Okay, and then select the vectors. I think I have like some circular vectors to keep for the cutting area selected. Yeah, so I have some vectors in here to tell it where to cut and not go past that. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing I was talking about, the raster versus offset. So if you choose offset, it will just go in a circle from the center and then come out like this and go all the way around like this. I would say go with whatever the grain of the wood is flowing. Hide those tool marks, because you'll get like a circular pattern if you do it this way. So I switched to raster. I changed it to 90 degrees, so it was going this way, but now it's going this way. I think that's it for that. And I would say calculate. And actually, go back one step. You'd probably want to add your ball nose 1/8 bit on this one too. So you'd say select where's my ball nose? There it is. So you select your ball nose. For the finer details, you select that, and then you say bam. And then by default, it should be good. So you have a 1/4 and an 1/8. And what it will do is produce 2 separate cut paths for you. And you want to do it this way because if you do these 2 separately, what's going to happen is the ball nose, the 1/8 bit, it's going to end up doing the whole thing instead of just micro details in certain spots throughout the thing, which, yeah, if you do the whole thing with a 1/8 bit, that's going to take a long time. Okay, there you go. So the way that was set up is like it does the smooth pass. Okay, so I'll show you what the tool pass is. Okay, so the roughing pass that we just did, that's the roughing pass. Kind of rough, on the rougher side. Now, if you change that to that setting instead, it will be a faster cutting for you. It will cut it out faster, but yeah, like the likelihood of it maybe chipping or cutting something out that you don't want might be higher, a higher likelihood. So like you got little thicker spots in like right here, like that would just chip out. Like that's not even going to cut, and just chip out. So I tend to not do that pass. Okay, so the smooth pass that we did along with the 1/8 bit pass, they're both named the same right now, so you got to make sure you name them correctly so you don't get confused. But this is technically the 4th, and then this is technically the 8th. You'll know by the clear. It says clear 1, so that's a clearing pass. So the whole thing will be cut. And then just preview that. And then on the 1/8 tool bit pass that we did, what it does is it will just do all the micro details, or the tinier details, instead of doing the whole thing. And then that's really about it, I think. If you need to change the size of your project after you import it in, you go up to your modeling and go over here and go into properties, and then pretty much the same settings as what you had when you imported it. There's the thickness. There's your base height, so how far it is. Like you can change the thickness here too, but it's your base height thickness. It doesn't like extrude it out more than it is. It just makes it thicker. And then as far as the size goes, if you need to resize it, you just go in the viewport, select it, and select the sizing icon, and then you can change the percentage of the size, make it bigger, smaller. Let's say I wanted it 70% smaller, so I click apply. Okay. Or what if it was offset and you wanted to go back in the center of the project? Another thing, yeah. All my project pieces are centered, so it just makes it easier to make sure things line up correctly. So if you find yourself off center, you just do that. Yeah, I think that's all I can really show you. If you have any more questions, I guess just let me know.